On a frosty Christmas Eve, a quaint little village lay blanketed in snow. The village, nestled in the heart of a serene valley, was alive with the spirit of the season. A cheerful bustle filled the air as villagers prepared for the most magical night of the year. The village square, usually a quiet, unassuming place, was now a vibrant hub of activity, with villagers darting about, their breath forming little clouds in the cold air. Every home was adorned with twinkling lights, their warm glow reflecting off the fresh snow, creating a beautiful, ethereal landscape. The scent of freshly baked gingerbread and mulled wine wafted through the crisp winter air, promising the comfort of home and hearth. Joyous laughter and carols echoed through the cobblestone streets, giving the village an air of merriment and camaraderie. In the midst of all this festive cheer, there was one home that stood out. At the end of the village, atop a small hill, sat a small, weathered house. It was the home of old Tom, a mysterious elderly man who lived alone. His house was devoid of the twinkling lights and festive decorations that adorned the other homes. No delicious aromas wafted from his kitchen, and there was no joyous laughter to be heard. Old Tom was seldom seen, and when he was often seen with a faraway look in his eyes. Old Tom was a puzzle that few could decipher. He was a man of few words and fewer appearances, preferring the solitude of his home to the bustling village life. He was a mystery, a quiet presence in the otherwise lively village. As the villagers busied themselves with preparations, old Tom sat in his small draughty house, contemplating the festive cheer that seemed so distant. He watched as the villagers laughed and sang, their joy echoing through the cold winter air. He saw the twinkling lights and smelled the delicious aromas, and yet he felt a strange sense of detachment. He was a part of the village, and yet he felt so far removed from the joy and laughter. As the night drew closer, old Tom sat alone, his thoughts filled with the festive cheer that seemed so distant. To understand old Tom's solitude, we must journey back to a different time, a different Christmas. Picture, if you will, a young man full of life and vigour. This was Tom in his prime, the very heart of the village Christmas festivities. His laughter was genuine, his spirit infectious. He was a beacon of joy and merriment, drawing people to him like a moth to a flame. His home was always filled with laughter, the clinking of glasses and the warmth of friendship. But Tom wasn't just the life of the party. He was a loving husband, a doting father. His family was his world, his joy, his pride. They were the reason his laughter was so hearty, his spirit so undaunted. He was a man who had everything he could ever wish for, a man truly content with his lot. Yet, as is often the case, fate had a cruel twist in store. One fateful night, an accident took away his family, his world. The vibrant laughter that once echoed through the village was replaced by a deafening silence. The house that once bustled with life and warmth became a cold, empty shell. The man who was once the heart of the village festivities became a shadow of his former self. Tom's loss was not just his own. The entire village felt the void left behind by his vibrant family. The Christmas festivities were never the same without their warmth, their laughter, their spirit. The heart of the village was lost, and with it, a part of the village's soul. With his family gone, Tom withdrew. He locked away his laughter, his joy, his spirit. He became a recluse, a man lost in his sorrow. The house that once echoed with the sound of Christmas carols and laughter now stood silent, a stark reminder of a happier, brighter time. His once bright spirit dimmed, his laughter silenced. And so we find old Tom, alone on a cold Christmas Eve, a man haunted by a Christmas past. Unbeknownst to the villagers, old Tom held a secret, a forgotten fortune tucked away. Old Tom, with his worn-out clothes and humble cottage, was a familiar sight in the village. His weather-beaten face told tales of harsh winters and long, lonely years. Yet, beneath this cloak of modesty, lay a secret that none could fathom. Old Tom, the man who warmed his hands by the fire and sipped on thin soup each day, was, in fact, a man of great wealth. In his youth, Tom was an adventurer, a seeker of fortune. He travelled far and wide, braving treacherous seas and desolate landscapes. His courage and wit brought him a wealth that most could only dream of. But after the untimely demise of his family, the allure of wealth faded. The once sparkling coins and glittering jewels lost their charm. His fortune, like his past, was boxed away, hidden from the world. Tom's wealth lay untouched, gathering dust in the attic of his humble abode. It was a stark contrast to the man himself. He lived a life of frugality, cherishing the simple pleasures of life. His wealth was a forgotten chapter, a relic of his past. It was as if the gold coins had lost their glow, the diamonds their sparkle, in the face of his loss. Yet there was a certain tranquility in Tom's solitude. His days were filled with the comforting rhythm of routine. He found solace in the chirping of the birds, the rustling of the leaves, and the warmth of the fire. His wealth, a silent spectator to his life, lay forgotten. In the grand scheme of life, Tom's wealth had become as insignificant as a grain of sand on a vast beach. It lay dormant, as untouched as the man himself. For in the end, it was not the glitter of gold that warmed his heart, but the simple pleasures of life. In his solitude, Tom's wealth lay forgotten, as unused as the man himself. One Christmas Eve, a realization dawned upon old Tom, illuminating his heart like the festive lights outside. In the heart of old Tom there was a stirring, a spark ignited by the warm glow of the village's Christmas spirit. As he looked out at the soft snowfall, the twinkling lights, and the joyous laughter echoing through the streets, he couldn't help but feel a sense of belonging he had long forgotten. Inspired by the village's festive cheer, old Tom decided to transform his wealth into a beacon of hope. He had amassed a considerable fortune, one that had sat untouched and gathering dust in the corners of his old mansion. It was time, he thought, to put this fortune to good use. With the spirit of generosity guiding his heart, he began to anonymously donate his wealth to the village. His fortune funded community projects, breathing life into the village's dreams. The old library was renovated, the park was restored, and the community centre was revitalised. Old Tom's generosity was the invisible hand that set the wheels of progress in motion. But his generosity didn't stop there. He established scholarships, enabling young minds to pursue their dreams without the burden of financial constraints. He helped those in need, lifting the weight of poverty off their shoulders. He became the unseen benefactor, the silent guardian, the spirit of generosity personified. The villagers may not have known it was old Tom, but they felt the impact of his benevolence. They felt the village come alive, their hopes flourish, their dreams attainable. They felt the warmth of a generous heart beating in rhythm with their own. In the quiet of the night, old Tom found a new purpose, a way to reconnect with his community. He discovered that the true value of wealth was not in hoarding it, but in sharing it. His fortune, once a symbol of his isolation, had become an instrument of connection, a testament to the power of generosity. In the quiet of the night, old Tom found a new purpose, a way to reconnect with his community. As Christmas morning dawned, the villagers woke up to a miracle. A spectacle of joy and wonder unfolded as the villagers discovered their homes and the village square, now adorned with generous gifts. Children laughed and squealed in delight, their faces glowing with happiness as they unwrapped presents. Parents stood in awe, their eyes wide and gleaming with surprise. A wave of speculation swept through the village. Who could have bestowed such generosity upon them? Whispers of a mysterious benefactor echoed through the crisp winter air. The baker thought it might be a wealthy merchant passing through. The blacksmith speculated about a benevolent nobleman. The schoolmistress wondered if it was the work of a kind-hearted fairy. The mystery only added to the magic of the day. But amidst the excitement of the unexpected bounty, something even more profound was happening. A spark had been ignited. The villagers, touched by the anonymous act of generosity, began to share their gifts with each other. The baker shared his fresh bread with the blacksmith. The schoolmistress gave some of her gifts to the children who had none. The blacksmith offered his skills to repair anything that needed fixing. The spirit of generosity spread like wildfire, engulfing the entire village in its warm embrace. The village had transformed. It was no longer just a collection of homes, but a vibrant community, united in joy and gratitude. The villagers celebrated together, their hearts filled with a newfound sense of camaraderie and love for each other. While they celebrated, old Tom watched from his window, a smile lighting up his face, his heart filled with the true spirit of Christmas. The joy he saw in their faces, the love they shared, the community they built. It was the most beautiful Christmas miracle he could have ever hoped for. His wealth was not in the gold coins he had given away, but in the happiness and unity he had sown in the hearts of the villagers. And that, to old Tom, was the richest gift of all.